Betrayal. The gleaming spires of the Galactic Council's headquarters pierced the amber skies of Nexus Prime, a testament to the unity and progress of the myriad species that called the galaxy home. Yet within those hallowed halls, a sinister plot unfolded, threatening to shatter the fragile peace that had endured for centuries. Ambassador Nadia Sarin stood at the precipice of a momentous discovery, her heart pounding as she navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the Council's inner sanctum. The encrypted data chip, nestled securely in her palm, held a truth so devastating that it could unravel the very fabric of galactic society. As she rounded a corner, Nadia's breath caught in her throat. Blocking her path stood Counselor Xyloth, his reptilian eyes gleaming with a mixture of malice and triumph. "Ambassador Sarin," he hissed, his forked tongue darting between razor-sharp teeth. "I believe you have something that belongs to the Council." Nadia's grip tightened on the data chip, her mind racing to find an escape route. "Counselor Xyloth," she replied, her voice steady despite the fear that coursed through her veins. "I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about." Xyloth's laughter echoed through the empty corridor, a cruel and mirthless sound. "Don't play coy with me, human. We both know you've uncovered the Council's little secret. The Zorgan Empire has offered us a deal we simply couldn't refuse." The truth hit Nadia like a physical blow, confirming her worst suspicions. The Galactic Council, the very institution sworn to protect and serve all species, had conspired to betray humanity, trading their colonies and citizens to the brutal Zorgans in exchange for power and privilege. "You won't get away with this," Nadia snarled, her eyes narrowing as she calculated her next move. "Earth will never stand for such treachery. We will fight, and we will win." Xyloth's smile widened, revealing a row of jagged teeth. "Oh, my dear Ambassador, by the time your precious Earth learns of our arrangement, it will be far too late. The Zorgans are already massing their forces, ready to strike at the heart of human space." In that moment, Nadia knew what she had to do. With a burst of adrenaline-fueled speed, she lunged forward, catching Xyloth off guard. Her elbow connected with his jaw, sending him staggering backward as she raced past him. The data chip clutched tightly in her fist. Alarms blared throughout the Council's headquarters as Nadia sprinted towards the spaceport, her heart hammering in her chest. She had to reach her ship, had to warn Earth of the impending danger before the Zorgans and their Council allies could put their nefarious plan into action. As she burst onto the landing pad, Nadia's eyes widened in horror. Her ship, a sleek diplomatic vessel, lay in ruins, its hull riddled with scorch marks and debris. Xyloth's laughter echoed behind her, a mocking reminder of the Council's betrayal. "Did you really think we'd let you leave, Ambassador?" Xyloth sneered, emerging from the shadows with a contingent of heavily armed guards. "The Zorgans have promised us a new era of prosperity, and we will not let anyone stand in our way, least of all a meddlesome human." Nadia's mind raced, desperately seeking a solution. She knew she had to find a way to escape, to deliver the damning evidence to Earth's leadership before it was too late. With a defiant cry, she charged forward, ready to fight for her life, and the lives of countless human colonists scattered across the stars. As the first shots rang out, Nadia dove for cover, her training as a former Special Forces operative kicking into high gear. She would not let the Council's treachery go unanswered, would not allow humanity to fall victim to the Zorgans' ruthless ambitions. The battle for Earth's future had begun, and Ambassador Nadia Sarin would stop at nothing to ensure that humanity emerged victorious, no matter the cost. Mobilization. News of the Galactic Council's treachery spread like wildfire across human space, igniting a fury that burned hotter than 1,000 suns. From the bustling streets of Earth's megacities to the remote outposts on the fringes of known space, the cry for vengeance echoed, a unified demand for retribution against those who had dared to betray humanity's trust. In the heart of Earth's capital, the halls of power buzzed with frenzied activity as political leaders and military strategists worked tirelessly to formulate a response. At the center of it all stood Admiral Ilara Vance, a seasoned veteran of countless battles and a legend among her peers. With steely determination in her eyes, Admiral Vance addressed the assembled War Council, her voice cutting through the chaos like a laser through the void. "The Galactic Council has made a grave mistake," she declared, her words heavy with the weight of the moment. "They believe they can cast us aside, trade our lives for their own selfish gain. But they have underestimated the strength and resilience of the human spirit." A murmur of agreement rippled through the room as the gathered leaders nodded their assent. Admiral Vance continued, her gaze sweeping across the sea of faces before her. "We will not sit idly by while our colonies are threatened, our people enslaved by the Zorgan menace. We will fight, and we will show the galaxy what it means to stand against the might of Earth." With a resolute nod, Admiral Vance turned to her most trusted advisors, a fire burning in her eyes. "Assemble the Vengeance Fleet," she commanded, her voice unwavering. "Call upon our finest ships, our bravest soldiers. We will strike back against the Council and the Zorgans with a fury they have never known." As the War Council dispersed, a flurry of activity erupted across Earth's military installations. The Vengeance Fleet, a collection of the most advanced warships ever constructed by human hands, began to take shape. Sleek frigates, heavily armed cruisers, and massive dreadnoughts slid from their berths, their hulls gleaming beneath the harsh lights of the shipyards. Amidst the frenzy of preparation, covert operatives worked tirelessly to gather intelligence on the enemy's movements and intentions. Agents embedded deep within the Galactic Council and the Zorgan Empire risked their lives to uncover vital information, relaying their findings back to Earth through secure channels. As the Vengeance Fleet grew in strength and number, whispers of rebellion began to spread among the other species who had been wronged by the Council's actions. The Maraki, a proud warrior race known for their honor and bravery, secretly pledged their support to Earth, offering their ships and soldiers to the cause. In the shadows, a group of Lyraxian spies, their abilities to manipulate technology unmatched, worked to sabotage the Zorgan's war machine, planting viruses and disrupting communications. The stage was set for a conflict that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. As the final preparations were made, Admiral Vance stood on the bridge of her flagship, the UES Retribution, her gaze fixed upon the stars beyond. She knew that the road ahead would be long and perilous, that many lives would be lost in the battles to come. But she also knew that humanity would never surrender, never bow to the tyranny of the Council or the Zorgans. With a resolute nod, Admiral Vance gave the order, her voice carrying across the fleet. "All ships, prepare for jump. Set course for Axiom Prime, where our first strike against the enemy will begin. Let us show them the true strength of humanity, the unbreakable spirit that lies within us all." As the Vengeance Fleet surged forward, the stars blurring into streaks of light, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The time for retribution had come, and the galaxy would tremble before the fury of Earth's champions. Retribution. The Vengeance Fleet emerged from the swirling vortex of hyperspace, the inky blackness of the void giving way to the brilliant tapestry of stars that marked the Axiom Prime system. On the bridge of the UES Retribution, Admiral Ilara Vance stood tall, her eyes fixed upon the holographic display that flickered before her. "Status report," she barked, her voice cutting through the tense silence that had settled over the crew. "All systems nominal, Admiral," came the crisp reply from the ship's eye, its voice echoing through the bridge. "Sensors detect multiple Zorgan warships in orbit around Axiom Prime, as well as a significant Council presence on the surface." Admiral Vance nodded, her jaw set with determination. "So they think they can hold our people hostage, use them as bargaining chips in their twisted game," she mused, her fingers drumming against the console before her. "They're about to learn the true cost of their betrayal." With a flick of her wrist, Admiral Vance brought up a comm link to the fleet, her voice ringing out across the void. "All ships, this is Admiral Vance. Prepare for battle. We will show the Zorgans and their Council puppets the might of human resolve. For Earth, for our colonies, for the brave souls who have suffered under their tyranny, we fight. A chorus of cheers erupted from the fleet as the ships of the Vengeance fleet surged forward, their weapon systems coming online with a hum of barely restrained power. The Zorgan warships, caught off guard by the sudden appearance of the human fleet, scrambled to respond, their formations scattering like leaves in a gale. On the surface of Axiom Prime, Captain Theron Malik led a strike team of Earth's most elite warriors, their mission to liberate the human colonists held captive by the Council's forces. As the drop ships descended through the planet's atmosphere, Captain Malik's eyes narrowed, his mind focused on the task at hand. "Listen up, Vengeance Squad," he growled, his voice barely audible over the roar of the ship's engines. "We've got colonists to save and Council scum to take down. Failure is not an option. We go in hard, we go in fast, and we leave no one behind." As the drop ships touched down on the outskirts of the colony, Captain Malik and his team leaped into action, their weapons blazing as they charged towards the Council's defenses. The air crackled with the sound of gunfire and the sizzle of energy weapons as the two forces clashed in a brutal display of close-quarters combat. High above, the Vengeance fleet engaged the Zorgan warships in a deadly dance of fire and fury, the void alight with the flare of missiles and the searing beams of particle cannons. Admiral Vance's flagship, the UES Retribution, led the charge, its advanced shields absorbing the brunt of the enemy's assault as it unleashed a devastating barrage of its own. As the battle raged on, a glimmer of hope emerged from an unexpected quarter. A mysterious signal, originating from the depths of the Axiom Prime system, began to broadcast on an ancient frequency, its message encrypted in a language long forgotten by the races of the galaxy. Intrigued, Admiral Vance ordered a team of her best decryptors to work on unraveling the signal's secrets, even as the fleet continued to press its advantage against the Zorgan and Council forces. Little did they know that the message held the key to a revelation that would change the course of the war and the fate of humanity itself. With the colony on Axiom Prime liberated and the Zorgan fleet in retreat, the Vengeance fleet paused to regroup and assess the situation. As Admiral Vance studied the mysterious signal, her eyes widened in disbelief, the implications of its contents slowly sinking in. The fight for humanity's future had only just begun, but with the knowledge gleaned from the ancient message, Earth's champions stood poised to unravel the secrets of the past and secure their place among the stars. Revelation. As the Vengeance fleet hovered in the void, the weight of the ancient message's revelations hung heavy in the air. Admiral Ilara Vance paced the length of the UES Retribution's bridge, her mind racing as she processed the implications of the knowledge that had been bestowed upon them. The signal, it turned out, originated from the Protheans, an ancient and enigmatic race long thought extinct. Their message, decoded by Earth's finest minds, spoke of a hidden truth, a secret that had been buried for millennia. "The Zorgans," Admiral Vance whispered, her voice tinged with a mixture of awe and dread. "They're not just another hostile species seeking to expand their empire. They're a tool, a weapon created by a force far older and more powerful than we could have ever imagined." The revelation sent shockwaves through the fleet, as the true scope of the conflict they had become embroiled in became clear. The Galactic Council, it seemed, was merely a pawn in a much larger game, manipulated by unseen puppet masters who sought to reshape the galaxy in their image. "We have to act," Admiral Vance declared, her voice ringing with determination. "The Protheans have given us a chance, a way to strike at the heart of the Zorgan war machine. We must seize this opportunity or risk losing everything we hold dear." With renewed purpose, the Vengeance fleet set course for the coordinates revealed in the Prothean message, a distant system deep within Zorgan space. The journey would be perilous, fraught with danger at every turn, but the brave men and women of Earth's military stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the fleet navigated the treacherous currents of hyperspace, Captain Theron Malik and his team worked tirelessly to prepare for the battles to come. Armed with the knowledge gleaned from the Prothean archives, they trained relentlessly, honing their skills, and adapting their tactics to counter the Zorgon's fearsome technologies. Weeks turned into months as the Vengeance fleet pressed deeper into enemy territory, engaging in a series of hit-and-run attacks designed to keep the Zorgons off balance and disrupt their supply lines. With each victory, Earth's champions grew bolder, their resolve hardening in the face of the overwhelming odds arrayed against them. And then, at last, the fleet arrived at its destination, the Zorgon homeworld. A massive fortified planet, bristling with defenses and teeming with enemy ships. It was here, in the very heart of the Zorgon Empire, that the fate of humanity would be decided. As the Vengeance fleet closed in on the planet, the Zorgon warships swarmed to meet them, their weapons blazing with searing light. The void erupted in a maelstrom of fire and fury as the two forces clashed in a battle that would echo through the ages. On the bridge of the UES Retribution, Admiral Vance stood resolute, her eyes fixed upon the holographic display before her. She watched as her ships danced and wove through the enemy fire, their shields flaring and their weapons unleashing devastation upon the Zorgon fleet. But even as the battle raged, Admiral Vance knew that the true test lay ahead. For deep within the bowels of the Zorgon homeworld, a terrible secret awaited them, a truth that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. As the Vengeance fleet fought on, the indomitable spirit of humanity shone through, a beacon of hope in the darkness of war. Against all odds, Earth's champions pressed forward, ready to face whatever horrors lay ahead, to sacrifice everything in the name of freedom and justice. The final confrontation loomed, a climactic battle that would determine the fate of not just humanity, but of every sentient being in the galaxy. And as the ships of the Vengeance fleet hurtled towards their destiny, the brave souls aboard them steeled themselves for the ultimate test of their courage and resolve: victory. The Vengeance fleet sped towards the looming Zorgon homeworld, weapons primed and shields at maximum. On the bridge of the Retribution, Admiral Ilara Vance's eyes narrowed with steely determination. This was it, the decisive battle that would determine the fate of humanity and the galaxy itself. All ships, execute attack plan Alpha on my mark. Vance commanded over the fleet-wide comms. Concentrate fire on their orbital defense platforms and capital ships. We must punch through their lines and strike at the heart of their empire. A chorus of affirmatives rang out as the human fleet accelerated to attack speed. Mere moments later, the void erupted in a storm of plasma fire and missile contrails as the two mighty armadas clashed. Zorgon dreadnoughts and battlecruisers unleashed blistering broadsides, their advanced weaponry tearing into the human ship's shields. The Vengeance fleet answered in kind, pouring concentrated fire into the enemy vessels and slowly but surely burning through their defenses. The Emperor's Fist and Void Wrath are down, Captain Malik reported from the Retribution's CIC. Multiple kill confirms on their escorts. We've broken through their primary battle line. Well done, Vance nodded. All ships, press the attack. Launch assault teams and prepare to take the fight to the planet's surface. As the space battle raged overhead, scores of dropships and assault landers poured from the human vessels, punching through the atmosphere in meteoric fireballs. On the ground, Zorgon defensive batteries and hover tanks mobilized to repel the invaders, blanketing the landing zones with deadly fire. Undaunted, the human Marines disembarked amidst the chaos, their powered assault armor deflecting the worst of the barrage. With practiced precision, they fanned out and advanced, leapfrogging between cover and laying down withering suppressive fire with rifles, machine guns, and missile launchers. Slowly, inexorably, they battled their way towards the towering obsidian spires of the Zorgon capital. Meanwhile, a special operations team led by Ambassador Nadia Sarin infiltrated the city stealthily, determined to confront the shadowy figures behind this galactic conspiracy. Following the trail of clues left by her mysterious Prothean benefactors, Nadia and her soldiers battled their way into the Imperial palace itself. In the throne room, they found themselves face to face with the Zorgon Emperor, a horrific amalgamation of flesh and machine. More shockingly, at his side stood none other than Counselor Xyloth, and the other Galactic Council leaders. "You're too late, humans," the Emperor rasped, his voice an unearthly, distorted mechanical bass. "My legions are endless. With the Council in my thrall, I will conquer this galaxy world by world, fashioning all in my image. Your species' extinction is inevitable." "No," Nadia declared defiantly, raising her pulse rifle. "Humanity will never submit. We'll fight to our last breath to stop your insanity. And we are not alone." With a tremendous crash, Prothean combat walkers smashed through the chamber walls, led by 3-meter-tall aliens in shimmering energy armor. "For eons, we have waited, watching from the shadows and guiding the younger races," their leader spoke. "No longer. The Zorgan abomination must be cleansed. This day, the followers of the Mantle of Responsibility go to war." Together, humans and Protheans fell upon the Zorgans and their council collaborators in a titanic clash. Pulse beams and plasma bolts flew as Emperor and Admiral dueled across the crumbling throne room. As the dust settled, Vance stood victorious over the Emperor's sparking remains, the homeworld's defenses collapsing all around them. The Council traitors lay dead or captured, their schemes unraveled. In orbit, the Zorgan fleets broke and scattered before humanity's wrath, disorganized and leaderless. The Vengeance fleet swept them from the stars in a final, all-consuming tide of nuclear fire. It was over. Against all odds, at incalculable cost and sacrifice, humanity had prevailed. The galaxy lay shaken but saved, the Zorgan hegemony shattered beyond recovery. In the aftermath, a new age dawned, one of rebuilding, discovery, and cautious hope. Freed from their ancient self-imposed exile, the Protheans stepped forward to share their wisdom, ushering in an era of unprecedented unity, progress, and exploration. At the forefront of this brave new future stood humanity, unbowed, unbroken, having proven themselves as guardians and champions for all civilized species. No longer vassals on a galactic stage, they now took their place as leaders, peacemakers, and pioneers beneath a sea of stars. And watching it all with a proud, weary smile, Admiral Ilara Vance reflected on the strange twists of fate and duty that had brought them to this moment. To think it all started with one spy's desperate warning. "I guess this is what we train for, why Earth's best stand ever vigilant. For when the call comes, we will always answer. For the sake of all, may we never waver. May we be vanguards, now and forevermore."